protecting our Second Amendment rights, making sure our borders here, Frederick. Apparently our national leaders have not figured out how to protect our borders from illegal immigrants, but Chuck Jenkins would not allow that to stop him from doing something to protect our borders here in Frederick County. With implementation of the 287G program in ICE, and then year after year turning back millions of dollars to the government, saying I've met my budgetary needs, the people are taken care of, they're protected, they're safe here. I'm sure you'll find some place to spend it. I want to welcome someone to the microphone that protects us and looks out for us, we the people, Sheriff, not citizen, Sheriff Chuck Jenkins.
Everybody, I want to thank all of you for coming out this afternoon to help us remember and think about September 11th, 8 years later at this Take Back America rally. I think it's so important that everyone come out today to reflect the events of September 11, 2001, not to forget what this past 8 years of war is all about, and in many aspects talk about where we are today as America those 8 years later. First of all, I want to recognize the veterans in this crowd. Ladies and gentlemen, take off your hats, put down your umbrellas. Thank you for your service. I want to thank each American soldier, sailor, and airman that's currently serving our country around the world today, waging a war against this radical extremists. Thank you for your service. This nation to take America back, give it back to you, the honest, hard-working person, protecting the foundation of the Constitution and the sovereignty of the United States of America. It's a privilege to serve you as Sheriff. I'm here this afternoon speaking as your Sheriff, and I'll tell you this, one thing I've learned in my almost 3 years of service now is the Sheriff in America is probably the elected official that's closest to the people. I love coming to work every day. You've heard from Dr. Bitterello, probably one of the smartest individuals I've ever had the opportunity to meet, about medical care. You've heard about too many taxes, too much government spending, government takeovers and bailouts, forced in the wrong direction. And this is done outside of the constitutional powers granted to the executive branch, the office of the President, and the Congress. Very frankly, everything we've talked about here already has everything to do with the issue of national security in the United States of America and maintaining this country as a sovereign, secure nation. Let me just reflect 1 minute because I think it's appropriate. 9/11/2001, who was responsible for that? This nation was attacked by 19 members of Al-Qaeda, mostly Saudi radical Muslim extremists, orchestrated and planned by Osama bin Laden, their American-educated leader. This was nothing more than a brazen act of premeditated mass murder. The death toll and the impact, 2,974 fatalities, included 246 fatalities on the 4 commercial airplanes, 2,603 deaths in the World Trade Center towers, 125 deaths at the Pentagon. Those numbers included 343 New York City firefighters, 23 New York City police officers, and 37 New York Port Authority officers. Today, 8 years later, 24 people remain unaccounted for. For those who died and suffered losses on 9/11, as a nation, we still mourn and share that loss. In addition, we suffered tens of billions of dollars in property damage. We were rocked. Our might was rocked. Our economy was staggered, crippling our transportation and causing Wall Street and world markets to collapse and devalue by $1.2 trillion. Think about that number a little later. Since 9/11, America has embarked on a mission to seek and destroy this radical Islamic terrorism around the globe in Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan. The cost so far in American lives, and this is what we're here to honor today. 5,148 military lives lost. 35,302 soldiers, sailors, and airmen wounded in action. To honor those who sacrificed their lives and wounded warriors who returned with their lives changed forever, we owe each of them a debt of gratitude we can never repay. Homeland security, it has become a major role of government. That's a result of those criminal acts committed against this government, and that was for one reason. That damage was inflicted to coerce our government and influence our society. Let me remind everyone for the motive for the attack. Al-Qaeda, led by Osama bin Laden, who rose to power in 1979 in Afghanistan during a series of jihads or holy wars that were carried out against governments across the world. The first directive issued in 1996 called for Americans to get out of the entire Muslim world. A second bin Laden directive in 1998 called for his followers to kill Americans anywhere and everywhere. The motive for the 9/11 attack was that directive to kill Americans anywhere, to carry out violent acts against the American military and our citizens until our nation and our culture was destroyed. Quote, spill American blood anywhere, inflict economic damage on America, and bleed America to the point of bankruptcy. What we've all got to realize is this is a radical adversary, an imminent threat that still exists today in a war for the survival of this nation. This war may well last for generations. I hope I'm wrong, but it may well last that long. I don't believe that our current elected leadership in Washington fully understands the magnitude of this threat. This is very simple. We either win this or we fall to defeat. We go down to defeat. It's that simple. And now I want to kind of explain that our national security is absolutely tied to governing within the enumerated powers set forth in the Constitution. The direction of that leadership is going entirely in the wrong direction and weakens our national security and our sovereignty as a free nation. Some examples of what I'm going to talk about that will impact national security and increase our vulnerability. Our national debt has quadrupled into the trillions of dollars because of irresponsible government spending at all levels. We have become reliant on foreign nations such as China buying out our national debt, taking away our ability to sustain our own economy, again, directly affecting our national security. Nationalized, socialized health care with a government takeover at a cost of, again, trillions of dollars. This is a move towards socialism and the destruction of a healthcare industry, creating healthcare rationing to everyone, and as Dr. Vittorolo explained much better than I can, quality healthcare will be non-existent. Wasteful stimulus spending on ill-conceived government programs and false props to industries that have no long-term positive effects. A recent example is the failed cash for clunkers. $3 trillion in TARP funds to bail out banks in Wall Street that has not worked. The path toward the redistribution of your wealth with government deciding who will get the money that you worked hard to earn. Practices and taxes that will destroy the working middle class, which is us, small business, and allow government to own corporate America. We're doing to ourselves what a radical enemy set out to do. We are going to bleed ourselves to the point of bankruptcy.